to the Thursday Tojo Fitness Podcast for all things fitness and nutrition related.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Did you enjoy last week's podcast? That's going to be my number one question to you. Last week's podcast was on periods and hormones.
I enjoyed that one so much.
I bet it educated you, didn't it?
It did. Actual fact, probably it's the sort of thing you should play to your menfolk because they need to know this stuff.
It's true. Well, but also, you know, sometimes we want to be left alone at that point and just remove all sharp objects.
Perfect example. Give them the podcast at that time and send them to another planet.
Yes, true. Anyway, today we're actually going to be looking at things that kill your fat loss. And I know when I speak to a lot of ladies, they're like, oh, I just want to lose the fat. I want to lose the padding. Again, with guys, they want to lose the tyre around that waist because you sometimes get like that middle-age spread.
Yep.
You reach middle age and you have like an inflatable tyre start appearing around your midsection.
Everything starts going south, babe.
It does. It starts to inflate and then go downwards.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to look at some things that can kill the fat loss. You know, obviously what we want is that we build more lean muscle and we start chipping away at that fat, because once you actually get below the fat, you actually start seeing all that toning, all that hard work that you're putting in. And so we're going to bring to you today 6 things that can prevent fat being lost.
And the first of those is ever so simple. Too many calories. There you go.
Too many calories.
Just simply eating too much.
Yes, so one of the things that Tom and I do, we are on a calorie controlled, I wouldn't say diet, but we weigh everything.
Yeah.
We weigh everything and we use the app MyFitnessPal, a little bit of a plug there for Under Armour. MyFitnessPal, it's free. And what you do is you weigh absolutely everything. You pop it into MyFitnessPal and it will convert that into how many calories that particular food is.
Yeah, what's really interesting is working with clients sometimes is you'll say to them, how many calories do you think you eat? Just estimate it. And when they guesstimate it and then you work it out, you normally find that they're eating about a third more or half more and sometimes double the amount of calories that they think they're having. Even if at some points in the time they've weighed food, because you start, you spread your toast with just a little bit extra butter and then a little bit extra butter. You put a level teaspoon of sugar on your cereal and then perhaps that level teaspoon gets bigger. And then you choose the biggest teaspoon out of your teaspoon collection. And so it goes on and goes on.
I do that for coffee.
Well, that's fair enough. And so we tend to consume more and more calories. And then it takes more and more calories until we start feeling full, until the hormones ghrelin and leptin in our stomach stop growling and we start feeling full and content. And so we eat more and more.
But also, we kind of live in a society now where we eat out more. So, the whole eat out to help out thing and takeaways, etc., etc. I remember when I was a kid, that was kind of like a bit of a treat for us. Yeah. But now that's become really incorporated into our normal food. And you'd be surprised if you was to calorie count what you actually eat out at a restaurant, because you don't really know what they put in it. Or if you calorie count like your takeaway, you'd be surprised that perhaps one plate is about 1,200 calories. And usually we have that in the evening. So we're eating this huge amount of calories, not spreading it out during the day. We're eating it in the evening, probably just before we go to bed. We go to bed and all that fat just goes, I'm just going to stay here. It's quite cosy.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is that meal, if we prepared it ourselves, we'll probably prepare 500, 600 calories. That would be our meal. But 1,200 calories just slips down easy.
Oh my gosh, it does. Especially when no, I'm not going to mention.
So too many calories is one of the big things. And so the answer to that is simply, you've got to get yourself a set of scales and you've got to weigh your food. Now, we've been doing this for years and now it takes no time at all. And of course, after a while, you just know that a cup of milk is 300 millilitres. You know that an egg has 7 grams of protein. You know a lot of this stuff and it's all built into the app anyway. But it takes a little bit of time to set up, but it's one of the best investments you can do. If you were going to run a marathon, you would spend some time doing your homework first of all and setting the thing up, setting the race course up and so on. And so in building the foundation of a great body, you've got to put in the foundation work, and some of that is just sitting down, programming MyFitnessPal, getting yourself sorted, weighing your food, and stop making excuses about why we're eating too many calories. Now that leads us on to our second.
Can I just mention on too many calories?
Please
Sorry,
do.
just a little bit of a solution. How do you know if you're on too many calories? Well, basically, we can calculate that for you if you want to get in contact with us. Alternatively, if you put your goal into MyFitnessPal, it will calculate with where you are and how many calories you should have to get to where your goal weight is. So a lot of people will say, oh gosh, how do I actually know if I'm eating too many calories for my body weight? There's loads of calculators out there that will tell you. But if you want a little bit of pro advice on that, do get in contact with us. Email us at tom@tojofitness.com, just a little email. It won't take us long to work that out and we can send that back to you. Anyway.
Good point. Too many carbs. Number one is too many calories. Number two is too many carbs.
But I like carbs.
We've talked about this so many times, and yet it's still a problem. Of course it's a problem, because our society is absolutely obsessed with carbohydrates. And of course now we've got an equal and opposite problem whereby carbohydrates are demonized. But carbohydrates are just fuel.
Yeah.
That's it. They're just fuel. The more you're gonna use, more mileage you're gonna do in your car, the more fuel you need. But if you put too much fuel in your car that you're going to burn, you're just going to need to bolt on extra fuel tanks just to store the stuff, which is what fat is.
Yeah.
So too many carbs. What are you talking about in carbs? Give us some examples, babe.
Oh, bakeries.
Pastry.
Yeah, so...
Bake Off.
Yeah. Oh, anyone been watching Bake Off? They're so talented. Anyway, aside from that, bread. Bread is a huge thing now. There's so many different versions of bread. You walk into the supermarket and the smell is incredible. But what happens is that because, like Tom said, carbs are used as fuel, we actually don't use carbohydrates as fuel. We use it as comfort food. And there is the problem. So when we start using carbohydrates as our comfort food, rather than, okay, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to go for a run, I'm going to go for a walk, about an hour and a half before, I'm just going to have a little bit of carbohydrate just to fuel my journey, which is what they're used for. Now, that's the right proper use of carbohydrates, rather than getting to the evening, having all your carbs in the evening, so having a whole load of rice or white pasta, stodgy, starchy stuff, and in the evening, who goes for a run? Really?
Not me.
About 10 o'clock at night. If you do, congratulations to you. Anyway, we use them all at night, and then that energy is then stored overnight.
So let me give the example of the car again.
Yeah.
So we want to put, when we're talking about carbs, we're talking about things like pasta, we're talking about things like potatoes and bread and rice and stuff. Yeah. So if we're travelling down to Cornwall, as Joe and I often do, just a moment to give honour to the Cornwall trip.
Yeah.
We fill up the car with petrol and we travel down there. Now, if we decide we are so into petrol that we're going to fill up the back seat with petrol as well, right? We're not going to be able to take any passengers. We're not going to take any luggage and stuff. Let's fill the whole car up with petrol.
It gets heavier.
Not only is it dangerous, the car's going to get heavier, and it's going to make the place, it's going to mess the place up. So too much. So what we want to do is fill up on the way down there until the tank is comfortably full.
What we need.
Yeah, just what we need. So we fill the car up and we travel down, and that's going to be just perfect. Now, what if we decided, let's not fill the car up until we get there. The tank's empty, but what we're going to do is we're going to push the car to Cornwall, and when we get there, we'll fill up.
Oh, wow. I think we need carbs.
Well, that's what we do during the day when we eat all our carbs in the evening and none in the morning.
True.
Right, so in the morning is when you need your carbs to power your day.
Yeah.
In the evening, you're going to go to bed, you don't need your carbs. So when we talk about having too many carbs, what we're saying is fill up, have your carbs in the morning, have some more for lunch. They're great, they're your fuel, then set off on your journey, and in the evening, you just don't need them.
No.
So unless you're on a particular diet, just cut back on the carbs in the evening.
Yeah.
You can even cut carbs out in the evening if you're not reaching your goals. So number 1 was too many calories. Number 2 is too many carbohydrates, and often that's simply we're having too many at the wrong time. Let's just talk a little bit quickly, babe, about portion size with carbohydrates as opposed to vegetables and protein.
Yes, so the size of carbohydrates that is recommended is actually the size of your fist.
Yeah.
Now, if you've got a large fist, be a bit sensible. I've got a small fist. But when you clench your fist and your knuckles are facing towards you, that should be the size of your carbohydrates on your plate.
Yeah, that's enough carbohydrates to get you from breakfast to lunch or from lunch until the evening.
Yeah, it is. And when we talk about carbs in the morning, we do talk about slow releasing carbs.
Yeah.
To give you examples, porridge, slow releasing carbohydrate. Weetabix.
Shredded wheat.
Shredded wheat. And what happens is, instead of giving you that initial carbohydrate hit, they slowly release that fuel into the tank during the day.
Perfect. So that's your carbohydrates. For your what are you going to eat in the evening? Well, just eat more protein, more vegetables. You can eat as many vegetables as you like. Nobody's ever got fat eating vegetables.
True.
And protein, about the size of your palm of a hand of protein. So eat more protein in the evening, eat more vegetables, but not too many carbs if you're looking to lose fat. So the first thing that kills your fat loss is just too many overall calories. The second is too many carbs. The third is if you have a sweet tooth. And I'm going to hand over to Jo at this point because she has a sweet tooth.
Do you reckon I've got a sweet tooth?
I do.
But I'm the one that can eat one bit of a chocolate bar and put it back.
That's because you've got more self-control,
But you
I think. No.
Yeah, so a sweet tooth. Oh my. Especially ladies over the time of our period. When we start craving all the sugary stuff. And if you listened to the podcast last week, I'm not going to go into it now, but it will explain to you why we crave the certain things that we crave, especially sugar over the time of our period. But also guys here as well. Guys with a sweet tooth. Oh my. Monster drinks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, monster drinks, things that contain high levels of sugar, chocolate bars, etc.
Donuts.
Oh, Krispy Kremes.
Ah, yes.
Not putting you down, Krispy Kremes. I think you are an amazing company, but it's just too sweet.
Now we develop a sweet tooth because, and Jo touched on this earlier on, is because of our comfort eating strategies.
Yeah.
When we want to comfort eat, we want an immediate rush.
Big bag of Maltesers.
I mean, you know what it's like when you're feeling miserable, when you're feeling blue, you go shopping. But you want that thing to be delivered right now. You don't want to wait for it for a week because you want the adrenaline hit, that endorphin hit right now. And so simple sugars hit your bloodstream very, very fast. And so you want that rush right now. To recognise that is half of the way to your solution, because the better foods take longer to hit your system. They're less likely to stay as fat on your body. But they don't give you quite that instant gratification. So weaning yourself off of a sweet tooth is very, very important if you want to hit your goals. Now, that doesn't mean to say you don't have to not eat sweet stuff.
Yeah.
And this is the incredible thing today, is there are so many artificial sweeteners, but also natural sweeteners now.
Stevia.
Stevia is a great example. It's something we've used to wean ourselves off of. I like my porridge in the morning to be really sweet.
It does. Yeah.
But stevia, it's entirely natural. It's actually good for you. It has 0 calories. Use stevia in anything we want to sweeten. We stick stevia in, and it means we can still get that sense of sweetness, which our body craves, but very, very reducing the calories, which is also good for our blood sugar levels.
It is. So tell me, What has a sweet tooth got to do with fat?
Well, because good job you answered that.
Answered. I didn't answer it.
Ask the question even. It's very, very calorie dense.
Yeah.
It comes back to number one, too many calories. A teaspoon of sugar carries a huge amount of calories. A teaspoon of broccoli carries a lot less.
Mm-hmm.
Good example.
It may help the medicine go down, but you'd need a lot more medicine if you kept on having sugar.
Yes. And of course, it wrecks your system. We've done a podcast called Why Sugar is Poison.
Why sugar sucks.
Yeah. Look it up. Check it up. So avoid a sweet tooth is something, just look at yourself and say, look, I have a sweet tooth problem. My name is Tom Griffiths and I have a sweet tooth. Say it to yourself and then work out what's your strategy. How are you going to crush this? Well, there's a lot of easy routes around that. If you're on your Weetabix in the morning, you like it sweet, stick stevia on it.
Yeah.
Simple, easy change. Chocolate, there are low sugar varieties of that as well available out there.
Yeah, so just to give you an example on my little hit that I have during the day, I will have one Jaffa cake. And one Jaffa cake is 46 calories. But because it's got the word cake in it, I really feel like I'm getting my share.
You're getting your daily portion of cake?
I do have my daily portion of cake. Just one. I know it's hard to stop at one.
So you eat an entire
Half
cake?
moon, full moon, totally glimpse. I eat an entire cake.
Every day?
One.
That's amazing.
One Jaffa cake. Anyway.
Sweet tooth. Number 3, the
4.
thing that kills your fat loss. Number 4, avoiding cardio. Actually, just avoiding exercise. You know the old axiom of eat more, eat less, move more. Let's try and get that right. In order to lose weight, you need to eat less and move more. It's absolutely right. Now I know we're going to get people writing in saying, "Oh yeah, I've got this issue, I've got that issue, I've got this medical thing and that medical thing." Medical conditions account for a microscopic percentage of people who have problems losing weight. Some people, because of the way they're built or their DNA, may find it harder. It's more of a struggle. But things like thyroid issues are very, very rare in the overall scheme of things. And even somebody who has thyroid issues, if they eat less and move more, they will lose weight. It's just the laws of physics.
We've got a friend who we took through Shred for Summer, and he largely is in a wheelchair. His mobility was limited, but he actually has an allotment as well. And we took him through Shred for Summer.
Yeah.
He ate less. He moved more, and he's lost about 2 stone.
I think more than that. I think.
Was it?
I think it's more like 3 stone.
No, I think it was about 2 stone he lost. But he looked fantastic, and so there is that. We want to make this available to everybody.
Yeah, just simply moving more. Now, when we talk about cardio, we're not talking about doing a 5-minute mile. Just going out and running or doing some sort of crazy sport. Cardio simply means raising your heart level.
Yeah.
So if you raise your heart level to the level where you can talk, but it's not, you couldn't quote Shakespeare, that's cardio.
Couldn't quote Shakespeare even when I'm not running.
So all you've got to do is go out for a brisk walk, whatever is for you, a brisk walk, to the point where you could still hold a bare conversation, but you're going to have to stop and just have a breath every couple of, every sentence or so. That's okay, that's cardio, and that's going to burn fat. Equally, we said about avoiding cardio, but avoiding strength training can kill your fat loss as well.
Yeah, because that can be a little bit of cardio in there. I also train a lady who is also, she finds it hard to walk.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of upper body training.
Yeah.
Because walking, unfortunately, isn't one of the things, obviously, long walks, it can't be done at the moment.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of upper body, and that is also a form of moving more.
Yeah, simply, I notice when I'm on the gym floor, if I'm doing a shift on the gym floor, which is about a 4-hour shift, I burn 200 more calories than I would do if I was just sitting around.
Sure, yeah.
So over that period of time, 200, perhaps even 300 calories more. Now that's an awful lot of calories that I've burnt simply by being on my feet. Equally, you can almost double your calorie burn simply by, instead of sitting at your desk, standing at your desk.
That's true.
So when we talk about cardio, you might say, well, I don't have time to get out and do this, that and the other. Simply parking your car further away from where you work.
Yeah, that's true. Taking the
stairs.
Yeah.
All these sort of things add up. And you know that I love those apps, the little Fitbits and things people have, which tell you about the 10,000 steps.
Yeah, and they also say you haven't moved yet.
Yeah.
Because you need to move.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Just have something which tells you 10,000 steps is a great goal, and it will have a huge impact on your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're on a fat loss program and you're not losing fat, it might simply be you need to lose more. Now here's move more. Here's the added bonus in this, is that when you move more, it cranks your metabolism up. Equally, when you lift heavy weights, it cranks your metabolism up. So I notice if I go to the gym first thing in the morning and I do maximum deadlifts, and that's all I do, my metabolism throughout the day, I will burn somewhere in the region of 300 more calories that day over the course of the rest of the day. And it's a thing called EPOC, the fact that once you lift something very, very heavy, your body kicks into overdrive, and for the rest of the day, you're going to burn calories at a greater rate, which is another reason why doing something physical in the morning before work is a great strategy.
Indeed. We're going to move on to our next point. The fifth reason that can kill your fat loss is actually a lack of sleep. Who knew?
Lack of sleep.
A lack of sleep. How many here have problems with sleeping?
Well, I always feel I could have just a little bit more.
I think that's the thing. When you wake up in the morning, we've done a podcast on sleep, so we won't go too far down the rabbit hole on this one. But if you wake up to an alarm, sometimes you just feel you just want a bit more, don't you? But
how much sleep is the correct amount of sleep?
Oh, everyone's different.
A little bit more.
A little bit more is true.
It's always a little bit more than
That's
what you're currently getting.
How much money's like too much money?
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lack of sleep. So first of all, I think the obvious one is that you eat less during the night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unless you're a night nibbler.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Your body is continually burning calories during the night as well.
Yeah, the body always works.
Everybody's metabolism's different. I lose roughly 0.1 of a kilogram every hour I sleep.
Oh.
Perhaps a little bit more than that, actually. So if I go to bed, no, probably more than that, might be even up to 0.2 of a kilogram. So I lose about 1.5 kilograms overnight.
Overnight, yeah.
Now, some of that's just water loss. Some of that's just...
I'm not surprised the amount of times you get up for a wee.
Thank you for sharing that with the whole world, honey. But a lot of that is just your body's still active, still burning calories, and you're not taking any calories on board. But hormonally is a bigger bang for your buck here. Your hormones work really at their optimum and are reset to work at their optimum the next day when you get enough sleep. So a good night's sleep sets you up the next day. Your body feels like it's balanced. Your hormones are balanced, and because of that, it doesn't panic. If your hormones are out of whack, your body starts panicking, and just, when you panic, you just want to grab hold of things and stay where you are and hide away. Your body does the same. It doesn't want to metabolize fat. It doesn't want to burn fat. It doesn't want to change anything. It just wants to hold on to what it's got. If we're on a process of fat loss, we want our hormones to be nice and relaxed and stress-free.
But also, I guess, if your hormones are out of whack, and ladies, we know what that's like, you then start grabbing for the sweet stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're feeling tired, they've done studies that people who feel tired more reach for the sweet stuff more. They reach for the carbohydrates more. So when you've had a good night's sleep and you feel in equilibrium, shall we say, you're more than likely to eat the right stuff.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. So one of the best things you can do it's totally counterintuitive. If you want to keep your fat loss on track, is to get enough sleep. Enough sleep for you, maybe 9 hours, it may be 7 hours. It's probably not 5 hours. 5 hours for most people will put people in an emotional deficit. It'll put them in a state where their
eating
hormones are out of whack, and then they'll self-medicate the next day with coffee and stimulants and so on, and cake and stuff, donuts, to get through the day in order, not so much so you don't feel hungry, but so your hormones, you're sort of trying to manipulate your hormones. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Which leads to our sixth reason why fat loss is a problem. Sixth thing that kills fat loss, and time and time again we found that this is the one.
Yeah, it's a major key.
Alcohol. Everyone likes a glass of wine with their food.
Yeah.
Very few people put it into their weight tracker. Very few people put it in to their calories. And yet it's very, very calorific. So alcohol has, if I tell you that carbohydrates have 4 calories per gram, 4 calories. If you say that fat has 9 calories per gram, alcohol has 7 calories per gram. So we go on these fat-free diets and then make it up by drinking loads of alcohol, which has almost as many calories per gram. And let's face it, it's easy to drink.
Yeah.
I mean, 250 millilitres of wine, easy to drop down, right?
For you. I'm a lightweight.
250 millilitres of wine, easy to pack away. Yeah. So that's with 7 calories per gram or per milliliter. You do the math. That's a lot of calories you've just tucked away there.
Now, it's not meant to say that, we know, drinking wine in the evening when you've had a bit of a rough day and, the kids have just gone to bed and you're like, oh, thank the Lord for that. And you're just going to get a little bit of wine out. 1 glass turns into 2 glass, etc., etc. And just in an attempt to then help you sleep and to wind down in the evening, we totally get it. We've been there. But there are other ways to help you wind down and forget things other than alcohol. But alcohol itself, we've actually put some people through our peak nutrition program. And there's a lot that we've actually covered in today's podcast. But when we'll always start with the alcohol. We'll cut back on the alcohol first, because what we're saying here, we're not asking you or telling you need to cut down or you need to adjust all these 6 things all at once.
No.
Because you won't be able to stick to that.
Well, actually, fact, doing one of them, like alcohol, alcohol will put you to sleep fast, but it will wake you up in the night.
Oh, I know, when it wears off.
It will cause you a disturbed night's sleep. So a little bit of alcohol, a glass of wine with a meal, a small glass of wine, fine. Yeah. But if you sort out the alcohol, step number 6 here, is going to help you with step number 5, which is your lack of sleep. You will sleep better, your hormones will be better in the morning. The next day, you're going to burn more calories the next day, and you haven't taken on board extra calories in alcohol.
Yeah. But we totally understand that obviously you want to get to that stage of wind down. My previous job was I used to work in funerals. I used to see a lot of disturbing things. And so as soon as I got in the evening, to actually help me wind down, I'd have some alcohol. And I started to swap that out for chamomile tea.
Yeah.
Chamomile tea has some very, very natural relaxants in it. And that really helped me sleep more.
Yeah, so there we have it. 6 things that kill your fat loss.
Yep.
Number 1, too many calories. Just sort it out. Just sort it out. Get the app. Get yourself a little pair of kitchen scales. Sort yourself out. Yep. Number 2, too many carbs. That's easy. You just swap them in, take them out, and put something else in that's much better for you.
Cut carbs in
instead.
The evening. Yep.
Cut carbs in the evening, absolutely. The third thing is deal with your sweet tooth. Just face it up, face it down, face it sideways.
Whichever way. Get
yourself some stevia and start swapping the sugary stuff in for sweet stuff. And then eventually you'll find your desire for sweet things will gradually lessen.
Yeah.
And it won't be eliminated entirely, but you'll be sorting that out.
Yeah.
Number 4, avoiding cardio. We're going to be doing some cardio. We're going to be doing just moving more, whatever that means. You might say, well, I go out and I do a 20-minute run in the morning, and that's there. I've done my cardio. No, you haven't. Cardio continues all day. Always take the option that keeps you on your feet. Number 5, lack of sleep. Lack of sleep, which is great. Here's a really good one. Everybody loves to be prescribed more sleep, right?
Yeah.
And number 6, alcohol.
Alcohol, yes. So they are our 6 things that can kill your fat loss. Try not to do all of them all at once. Just pick one. Pick one and put that into your life. And then once you kind of mastered that and you're ready for the second one, pick the second one. So don't forget that we are here for all of your nutrition advice. We are qualified nutritionists here at your beck and call to sort your calories out.
Please subscribe to us on www.youtube.com/Tojo Fitness. You might like to follow us on Instagram.
And we're on the book, Facebook.
Instagram is @Tojo Fit.
Yes. Have a fantastic day. We hope that this has been helpful to you, and we will see you next week.
Put your questions below.
Yeah, questions below. This is Tojo Fitness.
Bye.